everybody, it's Mia with TMBH. Today's February 23rd and it's Freestyle Friday. Today we're going to talk about, I guess the best way to describe it is rehab. Because, and I know that it sounds like really like, I mean, your rehab place, duh. But I feel like a lot of people, they know what rehab is just because, like, I don't know, like you see it a lot on TV, you hear about celebrities going to rehab, but like, what actually is rehab? Like, what happens when you go there? People don't really know. They just kind of know, like, if you have a drug or alcohol problem, you go to rehab, you come out and you're fixed. Like, that's kind of what the general idea of rehab is. And that's not always like it's not a good thing for, like, it's better to be more informed, because I think when you're not as informed about what rehab is, then when you're going into it or somebody's trying to, like, persuade you to go into it, you can be apprehensive, but that's only because you don't know. And I think a lot of people fear what they don't know, especially if you're in a position where, you know, say you're addicted to alcohol or narcotics, and those are things that help you kind of cope day to day. And so now somebody's telling you they're going to take you to a place that's going to take away, like, the few things that help you cope, right? So it can be a little scary. So I'm just going to give you like a little brief overview of the first two parts of rehab. So the first part of rehab when you first come in is, well, actually the real first part is intake, but after intake, the first part that you go through is the detox process. So basically all detox is about getting all of the traces of either narcotics or alcohol, or in some cases both, out of your system. So that way by the end of the detox program, and that's going to vary depending on what substance you used, how often you used it, or the last time you used it, your detox process is going to vary in length and in severity. So like, for example, for people who suffer with alcoholism, right? If you've been drinking every single day heavily, like binge drinking for 4 years, that can be, it might take upwards to a month, so like a few weeks where you're there. And the problem is, the reason that people do detox in rehab as opposed to like doing detox at home before they get into rehab is that, again, like I said, depending on your severity, the severity of your symptoms and the length of time that you're going to end up staying in rehab, it can be anywhere from like a moderate to severe kind of a process. So you might have people who like experience aches and pains and nausea and it's really uncomfortable. But then at the same time, you have this other end of the spectrum where you have people who, I mean, it can be, especially in terms of alcohol, your detox process can actually be fatal if you're not under proper care. And so that's why we're really big on trying to make sure that people do detox properly, and that instead of trying to do detox on your own at home, especially if you're the kind of person who's had like a deep-rooted, like long-term, heavy drug or alcohol issue, that it's best to kind of just do detox in a rehab center. Our center, for example, we are we have medical staff available 24/7 because, like I said, detox is not a thing where you can just leave people like, oh, like, no, we're not going to give you drugs and you can just like hang out until it's over. It is something that really, in a lot of cases, can require medical attention, right? So then after detox, the reason that you have to go through detox first, and the reason our particular facility really believes in the fact that you have to absolutely go to detox first and complete detox before we begin the second part, which is rehabilitation in a residential care facility. The reason that we believe that is because once you've gone through detox and now you're at a point where you're experiencing limited to no withdrawal symptoms, you're able to focus more on your addiction, like the addiction at hand. Because before that, when you're still in like an active addiction, what ends up happening is that your main focus is getting another fix, or, you know, the pain that's in your body, or the mental instability you're feeling, right? So now afterwards, now that we've gotten you off of your drugs and your alcohol, now you can go into residential care and really focus on yourself. And so that's the second part that we're going to talk about today, which is just residential care. So now residential care is where you begin the therapy part. You're going to do group therapy. You're going to do an individual session. You're going to go out into the world and start learning how to do different activities while sober, and learn how life can be fun while being sober. So residential care is really when you get kind of to like that root of your addiction. You're going to learn and try to figure out why did you start using? What triggers your use? Do particular people trigger your use? And then you're going to learn to be able to identify when you're being triggered in real time. So for example, if you learn that somebody being condescending, or somebody being very somebody who belittles you, let's say that your mother who belittles you is what really triggers that, right? So in a situation where we are trying to get you to a point where you can recognize, like, oh, this is stressing me out, this is not a good situation, I need to remove myself from this situation, and you're able to, like, kind of cut off things that would lead to that downward spiral of towards going back to, or relapsing, going back to drugs or alcohol. We want you to be able to self-identify what triggers that and then end it before you even get there, just so that way you're like, good, and we're not relapsing. So yeah, that's pretty much just the 2 parts that I wanted to talk to you guys about today, detox and residential care. I'm going to talk to you guys not tomorrow because it's Saturday, so I will actually see you guys on Monday for Mindful Monday, and again, it's going to be at 1 o'clock. Don't forget to check out our other daily video that we post, and we keep a link in the video somewhere. I don't know where it goes, but there's a link, and you guys are going to check that out. I will see you guys back here on Monday.